Hi everyone, I am Giulia Pattini. I'm from Politecnico di Milano, and today I will present you a theoretical part of my research. That is what I published on the EC3 paper, and this is about a theoretical framework for the automatic validation and smart contracts in the design phase. The presentation of today is divided into 4 main parts. In the first, I will illustrate the background and the main value of my research. And then there's the state of the art that is mainly focused on the automated BIM validation and also the analysis of the blockchain adoption in the design phase. And then the third part is about the high-level framework of the research. And finally, I will highlight the expected outcomes and the further development since this work has been validated using a proof of concept. So the background of this research is based on the analysis of the construction industry, and in particular, first worldwide and in Europe and then in Italy. Worldwide, I have identified that 50% of the project have experienced delays in deliveries, and then also delays in payments is a big problem. Then I have to focus on the Italian sector because my project is contextualized in Italy, and in the reports of the Italian construction industry, I have identified that there are long waiting times in the design phase between the stages of the design phase due to administrative and the validation processes. And also late payment is another problem as all around the world. At the moment, experts of the sector are, of course, considering also the digital transformation of the construction industry, considering the drivers that could be used in order to overcome and manage these main issues. And these drivers are mainly related to the improvement of information management, and then they're thinking of the design phase and engineering processes, the digitalization, of course, using BIM, and also the increase of the process automation. Based on these two analyses, so the main challenges and the main potential drivers, I have defined my research questions. The main research question, that is, how could digital and disruptive technologies shorten the validation and assure the proper implementation of the design phase? So my work is contextualized into the design phase. In order to answer this research question, I have developed a research framework that I'm presenting today, and this framework aims at improving the transparency of communication between the client and the design team, and authorizing the information exchange using blockchain, ensuring the automatic and exhaustive verification of the quality and consistency of information, because this framework, among all the BIM model checking activities, is focused on the BIM validation, so the validation of the quality and consistency of information. The framework aims at reducing the delivery time of the appointment through the automated and effective design validation, and also ensuring the incentives to the party using smart contract for the automated payment withdrawal, and also the delivery of tokens as an incentive system to the contracting parties. For what concerns the state of the art, as I said before, is divided between the information management and the potential blockchain adoption in the construction industry. So I started with the automatic information validation using BIM, and I consider the ISO 9650 standard as the main standard for an effective and efficient information management using BIM. And these standards defines the main phases that should be pursued in order to manage information effectively during the overall life cycle of the building. So there's the clear definition of information requirement, the proper production, and by the client, of course, the first phase. Then we have the proper production of the quantity and quality of information by the appointed party. Then there's the efficient, effective exchange of information among the parties. And finally, there is the verification and validation of information by the client in order to double check the compliance with information requirements. So as you can see, this is a sort of cyclical process. And due to the progressive digitalization of the information, there's a lot of, these are a high number of digital information to be validated and managed, and for this reason in the digital transformation of the industry, tools and applications have been created in order to automate and facilitate the verification and validation process. And I have decided to try to integrate these automatic BIM validation with the blockchain technology in order to ensure reliable tracking of the essential information, boost the automation of the appointment completion, and also incentivize involved party in the efficient execution of the appointment using the automated payment and the release of tokens. For what concerns blockchain technology, blockchain belongs to distributed ledger technologies, and the main features of blockchain are immutability, smart contracts, and the possibility to use tokens. For what concerns immutability, through immutability it's possible to have secure exchange of information, and also the information could be transparent and traceable. Using smart contracts, it is possible to enforce the execution of certain activities, and also it is possible to guarantee the release and the traceability of payments. And finally, using tokens, it is possible to incentivize people to do what they're actually committed to do, and also it is possible to use token as a sort of qualifications or certification for the sustainability or the circular economy of the components and material during the life cycle of the building. Then I have analyzed the literature review about blockchain adoption in construction, but in particular in the design phase. And at the moment, we have different studies that are analyzing and testing blockchain in the design phase. Some of the applications could be related to the collaborative and competitive design, the protection of intellectual properties of ideas, or the notarization of the design events, and also the monitoring of the validity and updating of the BIM models. So based on all these exploration, I have defined a framework of the research. Of course, this is the high-level framework of my research. And this framework integrates the automated BIM validation and smart contracts, aiming at notarizing the critical information related to the validation process, automating the payment withdrawal once the appointment is successfully completed, and also releasing an NFT as professional standing if the appointed party completes the appointment under certain conditions. So as you can see, there are three main actors: the client, the information model verifier, and the design team. And this process could be divided into three main phases. And the first is the automated validation of the BIM models. Basically, this phase starts with the client that appoints the design team, design phase to a design team and defines the information requirements into BIM guidance. And then the design team has to develop and deliver these BIM model to the client. The client will store the BIM model into a CDE solution, and then the client also appoints a information model verifier that has to set up the rule sets based on the BIM guidance, and then the information model verifier implements these rule set into the BIM models that automatically will verify the models and produce a verification report. The client has defined a minimum set level of compliance to be achieved. If the BIM model achieves the set level of compliance, it is approved for construction or operational and maintenance phases. Otherwise, the report is sent back to the design team that will have to do all the amendments to the model. And the client defines also a maximum number of verification cycles within which the BIM model must achieve the set level of compliance without penalties. So as you can see, this is a cyclical process. The second phase is the configuration of the blockchain network and the notarization of both the BIM model and the validation report on chain. So the files that have been stored in the CDE solution are recorded on chain using an interparty file system storage that produces an hash for each file. So it is possible to compare if the file already exists on chain. If not, it is used dedicated smart contracts that through which the hash is recorded on chain, and in this way it is possible to track all the documents produced and also delivered by the design team. The last phase is automated payment withdrawal and the NFTs released to the design team. This phase involves three main smart contracts. The first is for the notarization of the principal information related to the validation results. The first is for the automated payment withdrawal, and the last one is for the release of an NFT as professional standing. So the results contained in the validation report are stored on chain using a smart contract, and then this smart contract is connected with the smart contract for the payment withdrawal. This smart contract compares automatically if the set level of compliance has been achieved or not. If not, the transaction is reverted, otherwise the payment is approved, and so the design team could withdraw the payment and the appointment is completed. And also the first smart contract, the one that contains the verification results, is connected with a smart contract for the release of an NFT. So as an incentive system, the client defines a lower number of verification cycles within which, if the model achieves the set level of compliance, the design team can receive an NFT as a professional standing. So the expected outcomes can be found both for the automated validation of the quality and consistency of information and in the use of the blockchain-based smart contracts. For what concerns the automated validation, of course, it is possible to have automated, comprehensive, and detailed verification, and it is possible to have detailed validation reports that are automatically obtained. Then these detailed verification can encourage the design team to produce in a short time the information in compliance with the client's information requirements, and in this way it is possible to reduce the working time and the likelihood of rework. And also this detailed verification can help in transparent monitoring of the actual progress of the project. For what concerns the blockchain-based smart contracts, the use of these smart contracts can enhance the automation of certain activities, and also the possibility to obtain, by the point of view of the design team, the payment once the appointment is completed, can assure the design team of the willingness of the client to pay. And then the use of NFTs as a recognition of professional expertise and competence can be, of course, an incentive for the design team that is appointed for this phase. So as I said before, I have tested this framework on a real project. So I have developed a proof of concept, and I am comparing the results that I obtain in comparison with the one from a traditional process. So I'm comparing the accuracy of manual versus the automated verification, the comparison of the time and the effort spent for the manual versus the automated verification, and also I'm comparing the time required for the release of a payment in an automatic versus a traditional way. And the configuration of both the rule sets for the automated BIM validation and also the smart contracts allow me to compare also the economical aspects, so the costs required for the both the configuration and the use of these two applications. And of course, there are possible limitations. This research involves disruptive technologies, so there are, of course, limitations. The first is that I consider only the validation of information quality and consistency, so the other types of verification, such as code checking and clash detection, are not included in my research at the moment. I've used public blockchain, so there's the privacy related to the document that I have notarized. And then, of course, there's the problem related to the use of cryptocurrency that at the moment is not feasible in the construction industry, so I have to find different solutions such as stable coins or the tokenization of money. And then there is a problem related to the connection between a distributed environment, that is the blockchain one, with the centralized environment that is the one of BIM. And finally, there's the problem related to the lack of regulation and standards for the use of blockchain, and also the smart contracts that, of course, is not encouraging people to use blockchain, and also the fact that people is not educated in blockchain, so we need to educate people in order to make them understand what are the real benefits and also all the potential limitation in adopting blockchain in our industry. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much.